What's up, Trad Nation? This is
Breaking Trad.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Breaking Trad. I'm Alan.
And I'm Matt.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Brittany.
And I may have come in way too early on that. There was still a little bit of ringing out there. I didn't realize. Maybe it's because we're first time in studio in
2 weeks.
3 weeks. This is the third week, right? No? We were out of studio.
Yeah.
This is week 3. We'd be in studio. Oh, so 2 weeks. You're right. 2 weeks. And then
Always am.
and then back in studio. But welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to BT Studio. We're glad to have you. We appreciate your you joining us and coming in and having a good time with us. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. Oh, by the way, not to steal the show, you guys sure do know how to make a boy feel special, especially with all your birthday wishes and everything on the Facebook. I appreciate that a lot. Thanks, Brittany, for the post. It was mainly Brittany and Amanda, and there was like a few pictures of me in the corner doing this. Like I look like this right
Alan
here.
was in the background of all the pictures.
She's like, "Happy birthday, Alan." I'm like, where am I?
I got the one where you won the men's shoot down.
Oh yeah,
That one was on there.
Yeah, that one. But no, yeah, you guys, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Anyways, how's everybody doing today?
Good.
Yeah.
Tired.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if my headphones are working. I'm tired, dude.
You got me in your headphones?
I can hear you, but I can't hear myself.
Oh.
Is the volume down on your...
No, it's all the way up.
Uh-oh, a little technical difficulty. First week back in 2 weeks. We got to get it figured out. It's part of it.
I don't know. I can hear myself now.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Ah.
You like hearing yourself, don't you?
I do. No, not really. Hate it.
It's one of those things, especially like when Addie calls and you can hear yourself like repeat what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
It's cringy.
Yeah, it's so
You're like,
cringy. I'm like, I gotta go, Addie. Bye.
Oh, well, all right. Let's get this party started. What do you say?
Sounds good.
I'm in a good mood. Everybody else seems like they're in a good mood.
We're just trying to be ourselves.
Oh, here they come. All right. Today, guys, our guest recently killed it in the Selfbow class at the IBO Trad Worlds. Most famously known for his overalls. From Jersey, Illinois, the bee's knees, Mr. Tony Taul. Tony, how are you, buddy?
Oh, pretty good. How y'all doing?
Doing all right, man. How's life treating you? You good?
Oh yeah. Can't complain. The temperature's finally broke here. I'm sure it's a lot hotter there, but I'm a sissy, so we got some
Whoa.
80-degree days, so it works out pretty good for me.
Are you kidding me right now? You got 80-degree days?
Oh yeah,
That sounds nice.
Here you go. What
60s in the night.
Y'all skiing
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah, come on down.
Oh man, that sounds very appealing. What was it, 90 today with 150% humidity or something?
Who knows?
We're anticipating the rain.
I just want to be able to wear pants again. Like, you can't wear pants. It's too hot for pants.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, I guess we got a couple questions for you. You know, we want people to know about you and your abilities and what you're doing. So Matt's going to start us off with the first question.
So we've seen you around a little while, and we was just curious to how you got started shooting.
Well, it's kind of funny. I was I don't know, probably 6 years old. My cousin used to come down, and we had a lot of property down in the sticks here in Illinois, and he used to come down, and him and his buddies would hunt all the time, and I always thought it was pretty neat. Was actually never into hunting. I was kind of a little hippie child. I didn't, never wanted to hurt nothing or whatever, and
Right.
didn't realize where my burgers came from, I guess. I don't know. But his buddy came down one time, and as a thank you, I guess, to hunt there every year, he'd come down and brought me one of the Fred Bear Little Bears. like little 24 at 20-inch bow, little recurve.
Yeah, yeah.
And man, I tell you what, the first day he gave me that thing, I had about 48 GI Joes set up on the picnic table, and got my butt whooped for shooting all my GI Joes and wasting all that money. And I from there on in, I was pretty well hooked. Met some, became a teenager and realized that girls were kind of cool too. So I kind of gave up on it for a while.
They're just kind of cool.
Yeah. They were all right back then, I guess. But no, I kind of fell away from it. And then, heck, I don't know. I was probably 19, 20. Well, no, I was probably older than that, probably 22, 23 years old. Grew up in the country my whole life, shot guns, threw knives, shot bows, everything like that. But I never really hunted, never really did anything. And a guy had a buddy of mine had a Quillian cane brake, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with Dan Quillian. He was a great boyer of laminate recurves. And he built a heck of a bow in that cane brake. He always bragged that cane brake was a 200 feet per second wood bow. Wood riser, everything just had a little bit of glass on the limbs, but man, it was true. I mean, the bow was lightning quick, and I was like, oh, I don't ever shoot it, so I think I traded him a dog kennel and a little, I don't know, 410 pistol or something like that, just something silly, and, got this bow and had no idea what I had. I mean, this thing was lightning fast. It was like 59 pounds. And so I started hunting again. Well, I started hunting first time I ever been hunting. I was 23 years old, I think. Really? And, I never did a lot of hunting growing up or anything like that. But, I got that. And once I started shooting that, it was about a week into it and I was hooked. I figured out how to make the arrows fly somewhat where I wanted them to go. And from then on in, it's been shooting every day pretty much. So,
yeah, I see a lot of some of your videos on social media and things like that. So you had the Quillian, right? And then, but you I guess you fell in certainly to, building your own bows and things like that, like the Selfbow. What drew you to that discipline? What brought you to the Selfbow side, and how did you get hooked up, like, building your own bows?
Well, it was a bet.
It was
just
like
anything any hobby I start, usually is somebody bet me I couldn't do it. And actually, they didn't. It wasn't even me. I was just kind of standing in a group. We'd been hunting with a couple of hunting buddies, and one of the guys that I got into hunting, he never did it either, and he got hooked. He was like 30-some. He got hooked, and I took one of his buddies hunting with us, and Pat, I bet you can build a bow, make a bow from a branch or something and take a deer with it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I think I'll take you up on that bet, and so basically that's exactly what happened. I found a piece of Osage, went to carving on it. It was an old fence post. Carving on it.
Did anybody ever show you how, or did you get any instruction outside of just, putting it on a clamp and start stripping it, or what?
No, there was a fella up at our local lumber store, and I heard he had made bows. I was shooting traditionally, but I heard, he made his own bows, and I had seen a Selfbow here and there at different local shoots, and thought, oh man, those things are doggy as can be. I wouldn't want one of them. And that fella. Then I started looking at bows online, and I mean, I guess it was two different things. The bet. And then seeing all these beautiful bows, I was looking at all these laminate bows, and I wanted a Black Widow, and I wanted this, and I wanted this.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing these Selfbows, and I didn't even know what they were, because the ones I had seen were so janked up that they were just sticks, So once I seen some of these bows online, like Will Harrison and Waylon Olive and Ryan Gill and all these guys, I started seeing these crazy snaky bows, and I was like, wow, I really want one of those. And then I started looking at prices and was like, wow, I'm poor. So,
I gotta figure this out.
Yeah. So it really was. And, like this fella at the local store, I'd heard he made bows. I was like, hey, how do you make a bow? And being the very gentlemanly thing, he was like, well, you chase a ring and don't let them break. And so I didn't have any idea what he was talking about at the time, but I realized,
I don't think any of us have any idea what you're talking about. Chasing the ring and hope it don't break.
Yeah. Basically, it's zero advice is what it is. But mainly chasing a ring on a Selfbow is really, in my opinion, your most crucial point. So if you can imagine taking a sapling and bending it to the ground, you can bend that sapling all the way to the ground and make almost a perfect U with it.
Mhm.
But if you take a pocket knife and smack it while it's bent, it's going to break, right where you smack it with your pocket knife.
Right.
So chasing the ring is basically a growth ring, having one solid growth ring on the back of the bow and mimicking that tree's natural ability to bend. So, you have to chase that one growth ring. And so you have summer wood, your summer wood and your spring wood. Your summer wood's the growth ring that you want to chase. The spring wood's like the spongy stuff that, it's the porous portion of it, and, so if you violate a ring, you'll hear, when you get around, Selfbow guys will talk about, I think I violated a ring. That's why I blew up. So when you violate a ring, yeah, you'll have that. So when you violate that ring, that's what happens. So you want to have that nice smooth back with all one ring, and not all of them. Hickory you can get away with it, but realistically, Osage is king, so that's all I really build. Osage and the occasional piece of U. So and you have to chase the ring on Osage. So, but that was the advice he gave me was chase a ring and don't let it blow up. So I started doing it, and the first bow I ever made I still have it actually, was like a 74-inch sinew back, which is pointless at that length. Everything I could have done wrong, but the bow shot. And I made it on a Friday. I started on a Friday. I finished it on a Sunday as far as getting it to shoot. The tiller was all messed up and everything. I went out Monday night and killed a deer with it.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Called that guy up and was like, hey, I did it. I won the bet. What do I win? And, he obviously was like, well, the bet wasn't with you, so you don't win nothing. So, but from there on in, I was hooked, I was definitely, all in at that point. And so I'd built a couple and I was scared to shoot them and scared to shoot them in tournaments, scared to shoot them in hunting. And so it went about probably a year and a half, 2 years. I had a couple seasons, I guess we'll say, that I was scared to hunt with them. And then finally, full time. And, so then once that happened, I kind of, I was like, what, if I'm going to build them, I need to build them. I keep, buying, because I've got a big gym, what are they, the Thunderchilds, a couple other nice laminate bows still that have got a lot of sentimental value to me. So I'll keep them. But I was like, I just want to, if I'm going to promote something, I'm going to promote my own stuff. And so then I started really getting into making them and learning how to make them right. Obviously I'm a learner, so, a hands-on learner. So you can tell me 100 times how to do something and I'll mess it up, but you let me mess it up in person one time and I'll figure it out, And so that's what it did. Just a whole bunch of failures, years of failing and figuring things out and kind of honing the skill there. And I still got a lot to learn, but
you must be doing something right. Cause I've noticed probably the most common factor in the last few years that I've been to shoots, it's either people are talking about Tony's bows or they're shooting and kicking tail with one of Tony's bows.
Right.
I can't think of a shoot that I've been to where somebody hadn't brought up or won with one of your bows. So
Wasn't it
pretty
Justin?
impressive.
Wasn't it Justin? Justin got a bow from Tony, didn't he? Didn't Justin Summers grab a bow from you?
Yeah. I gave him a bow there at Buck Hollow.
I think it was Justin then.
Well, no, I'm talking about literally at every shoot we've gone to. At the Howard Hill, that guy who won the top shot was shooting one of Tony's bows.
Oh my God!
That young buck.
What was that?
John Burt. John Burt was shooting there.
Yeah, he killed it. Killed it.
Well, how many bows have you put in your head? Can you think of how many bows you've put together?
I don't know. Probably. Realistically, I don't know, maybe 70 to 90, 70 to 100, something like that. I really couldn't tell you. I've been doing it, I guess this would be my seventh year building them, I think, 7th or 8th year building them. So, at first it was a couple here and there, but now I can, when I get bored enough in the wintertime, I can usually bust out about 20 in a month or two. So
I got you.
That's pretty crazy.
Well, how many deer have you harvested with your own bow?
Well, I'm not a very good record keeper either, so I couldn't tell you. But usually I'm averaging 4 a year for the last for the last 5 years, I guess. So probably 20 or so.
That's with your own bow?
Yeah.
And I seen, so, you know, of course I have to Facebook stalk our guests and, you know, but I seen a bunch of photos today, you with rabbits and then I seen this one. Did you make the bow that had the snakeskin cover on it with the hole? It looked like a knot was in the middle of on the limb.
Yeah. That was my first fence post.
Oh yeah.
All my fence post bows, when I talk about fence post bows now, they all came off of one post. And I ended up getting like 18 bows off of one post. And that was the first one I ever built. And it was kind of a funny story because I posted the picture of it, you know, as a stave, and a bunch of boyers they're like, well, you'll never get a bow out of that. It's not going to work. And, you know, you can't build them out of fence posts. And it was like, one of those other bets, you know, bet you can't do this. And
Just
that bow, I still shoot that. Yeah. I shoot the heck out of that bow still. It's, you can dang near get a golf ball through that hole.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's pretty cool. And then, I mean, I was like, wow, man, this is insane. But no, I think that I think it's really cool, you know, building your own bows. I need to take some classes, Tony.
Oh, anytime. I'm always welcome. My bow shop's huge. It's a fence post with a vise on the end of it out in a big yard. So it's the sweetest. It's the most natural shop you ever seen.
There you go.
All right. Well, we're gonna switch gears a little bit and talk about a little something different.
Oh yeah, because you know, speaking of Facebook stalking, but
Yeah.
we've seen many recent stories, and I know you got pretty good not too long ago, but that you do bee removal, or as
It's
Alan
rescue.
calls it,
It's
bee
rescue. It's bee rescue.
So you're always going and collecting bees. I'm guessing you have several hives or boxes set up.
Yeah, I think what am I at now? I think I'm at 13. I got 13 separate colonies there. And honestly, I've caught a lot more than that this year. Like the photos that I just posted where I'm holding bees and stuff in my hand, those bees decided they wanted to go for a fifth time. I got them all the way home, gave them a nice new home, and they rolled out 2 days later. So,
Oh man, I seen you wearing a bee glove. Like
Yeah,
you were okay. So again, it's social media, but we was watching, and you had bees. The only part of your hand that was not covered was the very end of your palm. It was all covered in bees.
Yeah, that's it's one of those shock and awe things that is not really shocking and not really awing at all. Because I mean, anybody can do it as long as you're calm and you're like, I'm not gonna get stung. They don't mess with you. You know, you're putting out kind of like a dog can smell fear. You know, they don't. You know, bees are the same way. If you're calm around them, heck, you can let them do just about anything. I mean, they'll crawl all over you and not really bother you.
Well, one thing that got me, so I know you don't get up there and swing or anything at them at one, but I don't know anything about the large scale, the mass colonies of the bees and all. But you were sitting there, you were talking, and he was like, I think the tree was down. There was a tree that had been blown over in Kentucky, and you would come to get these bees, and you had this box set out, and you were like, "Oh, I'm not prepared for this. These guys are feisty." And I was like, "Dude, he's probably getting wore out." And he was like, "They got me twice," and I'm like, "What?"
But you did get stung pretty good not too long ago. Like you had several. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I remember it was probably a few months ago, maybe towards the beginning of tournament season.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was terrible because it was right before one of the shoots, and I got stung in a matter of 2 days. What it was there's swarms and then there's cutouts. So cutouts, bees they swarm and then find a home like in a tree or in the siding of a house or something. And this landlord called me up and said, "Oh, they're in the siding. This should be easy." Well, they were in the siding of the second floor.
Oh.
In this old 100-year-old house, so they went 5 feet back into the floor. And so like on a swarm like what I had the other day, they don't have anything to protect really but the queen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if they don't feel that she's in danger, they're not going to mess with you. You can mess with them and you can do whatever. And but cutouts, they have to protect their honey. They have to protect their eggs, their baby bees, their nurse bees.
Mm-hmm.
They have to protect the whole colony. And so when you go in there and start cutting out comb and pulling all this stuff out, all their eggs out, they get extremely protective. And I was suited up then and I got stung. It was like 120 times in like 11 hours.
Oh.
It was bad. It was kind of comical seeing me around town, though. I was walking around with an old cane, couldn't move my left leg. It was all swelled up, ears all swelled up. Looked like a UFC fighter that just got the crap beat out of him. And I felt like one too, because that was terrible. But for the most part, I mean, that's not as common as
just your
kind of the other way,
Yeah.
They're pretty peaceful most of the time. Cutouts are tough, but for the most part, even a lot of cutouts go fairly smooth. Sometimes bees are bees, and you got mean dogs and you got nice dogs, and sometimes you come across a bloodline that's not the nicest of bees, so they'll light you up.
So you keep these bees. Once you get them, you take them home and keep them.
Mm-hmm.
And are you like harvesting honey, or is it just for like pollination around your home, or?
Well, so I'm very fortunate where I live. I've got 10 acres right in the middle of like 700 acres. And I mean, we're out in the sticks. We're out in the middle of nowhere. So, but we're surrounded by like hundreds and hundreds of acres of CRP pollinator. So it's a government program, they pay you not to farm it, but then you plant whatever, for the last 9 years, it's been for quail and whitetail.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they come in and say, we're switching it all up. Now we're doing for, bees and butterflies. So we're doing pollinator. So, I mean, the 20-acre field right in front of my bees is a 20-acre field of wildflowers.
Oh,
and, and I'm surrounded by, we've got some agriculture, which isn't great for the bees, to be real close because they spray the fields.
Right.
So, I mean, I've only got a couple fields that get sprayed. The people that do it, they call me up so I can cover them or move them for a day or two. But for the most part, we're all just wildflowers and indigenous species of flowers. So we've got a great nectar flow here. We're pretty fortunate. We've got black locusts in the spring and blackberries and raspberries and things like that. And so they love all that. A lot of milkweed. So yeah, I harvest honey. I guess long story short, yeah, I harvest honey. I'll probably end up pulling maybe 500 pounds this year. I've already pulled a couple hundred.
So I need to get a pint of honey and a bow. Do I just write the check to you, or?
Sounds good. Well, I'll tell you what, you just write the check to Cece. She'll take it. She's laid claim to the honey farm. They call it, she calls it Cece's honey farm. So,
okay.
And she's a little wild child. She'll get out there. I'll be working them, and she's figured out how to get out now. So she'll sneak out, and I'll have a bunch of bees flying around. Hey, Dad, what's up? I'll turn around. There's the baby. Bees all over, and they don't bother her a bit. She doesn't have any fear of them, and So yeah, she kind of laid claim to she lays claim to everything. She laid claim to my belt buckle from IBO. She laid claim to everything. I said, can I see that belt? Yeah, she said, that's mine. All right, whatever. I was like, you work hard for it, didn't you? She said, no, you did, but you worked hard for me. It's mine. All right, whatever. Well,
I was watching her when we were up there, and she was just sitting in the front of the steps, just playing in the dirt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's a feral child, that's for sure.
Love it.
Well, that kind of goes into our next question. Brittany's going to bring us into, but go ahead, Britt.
Okay. You sure you said
Oh no, but go ahead.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was.
But
wait.
So tell us.
There's more.
Yeah, there's more. So speaking of trad worlds, tell us a little bit about it. You end up walking away with a buckle, of course, that you've given away, or it has been stolen, or claimed, whatever way you want to call it. And that was first in Selfbow in the Hunters Challenge. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it was an absolute nightmare that weekend. I tell you what, I don't know about anybody else
is going to bring it up, but
yeah, it's I don't know what everybody else's thoughts were. It was a great shoot. I loved it. Obviously, any shoot that Levy puts on, I really enjoy.
Yeah,
I don't get to go to near as many of them as what I'd like to, but yeah, for whatever reason, and I think, like I said, shooting with some of these people, Leroy and Rusty Horn and Bobby Parks and Leroy Forsyth. I mean, Jack Rudy. You shoot with these old legends. I mean, you're like, how many buckles you got? And they're like, 49, 52. We've just been winning. That's all we do is win. And, so, and I've shot IBO. That was the first, Actually, that was the second major shoot. I went to Indiana Nationals here 6-7 years ago, and then I went to the Cloverdale Nationals, and then I went to IBO. And the first year in, I wasn't even shooting Selfbow at that point. I didn't have that confidence yet. Mm-hmm. And I went in and set up for longbow. Had no idea of any kind of rules. This is the first really, our Cloverdale was a great shoot, but it was, it just wasn't the caliber, the many people, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh man, look at all these people. And so I went in there and shot and realized I shot longbow class with carbon arrows, and then had to go tell Levy, hey, you disqualify me. And it just so happened I was running like 2 points out of first, and I was like, yep, can't do it. But Levy was cool enough. Like, he let me shoot the end round. He put me in modern longbow, let me shoot with my rig. It was like, look, you can just see how you're going to hold up, but you don't get to score, obviously. So got disqualified myself on that one, but he let me shoot. And so that was cool. Ended up, doing pretty well. And then from there on out, I was like, all right, I'm shooting wood arrows. And so every year, is progressed, and every year it's second place, third place, something like that. And, usually do pretty good on the Selfbow challenge and the novelty shoots, which are my favorite part of IBO. I don't know about y'all, but
oh yeah,
like I love the novelty shoots. That's what I come for basically. And, so it was always, every year I always made the joke, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. So, this year was pretty nice. So my nerves were up, and I practiced my butt off. I was shooting nothing inside 23 yards, really. I was staying in that 23 to 30 yard range every day,
So I'm fixing to say this because it was something for me. The yardage as far as like evaluation and putting the arrow where it was supposed to be then?
100%. It's that, and I just forgot everything. I forgot how to shoot a bow there for a few days. And, but I got in my head of the bow that I'd been shooting, and I never shoot the same bow. Like, people are, I shoot one bow and one bow only. I shoot 50 bows. I'm shooting 3 or 4 bows every session, just playing around which one I want and this and that. And I put them all down and started shooting that bow, and I got up there and just lost confidence in that bow completely. I was shooting hot, I was shooting low, and the shots were not that difficult. I was shooting more difficult shots at home in the front yard. Yeah. And I think a lot of it for me is mental. And I was hearing great shots talk about, oh man, that was a tough course. And these are guys that I don't think I've ever seen them. When Rusty Horn says it's a tough course, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Rusty, but Rusty could literally pull a twig out of a tree, throw a shoestring on it, and go win a buckle. He's just, it doesn't matter what bow he's shooting, he's just a great shot. Yeah. And I seen him, and he was like, oh yeah, that was pretty tough. And you got to be kidding me. So right out the gate, I went in with a mental block there. High strung. Yeah. Yeah. I know. That, and I was wearing a 10-point hat, and that 10-point hat cursed me. That was bad juju on my part. So as soon as I took the 10-point hat off, I started shooting better,
Man, I struggled, and I know that everything was, there may have been depending on what course did you shoot? A, B, or C?
So I shot A and B, and then obviously the Bow Hunters Challenge, but I shot both A and B, and no, that's wrong. B and C. I never shot A. So I was B and C.
We shot A and
B. We shot A and C, I thought. Yeah. C was
the far one on the back.
Yeah. Yeah. So on C there was maybe 6 targets, maybe 6 that ranged 30 yards.
Yeah, there wasn't many. C was the one with the gator on the rocks.
Yes. And it cost me an arrow. That one did.
Yeah. We'll just call that gator Sparky, because I've seen a lot of sparks coming off of that
thing. Yeah, it wasn't, and it was like 6, and I knew they were out there. We all knew they were out there, but it was the terrain, man, or something. I think it was the terrain that was throwing us off.
It wasn't just us, though. I heard multiple people saying they just, like Jill, Butler, you know what I mean? She was having a hard time judging the yardage, and she was like sits there and would practice it over and over. She was talking about different ways she would practice, figuring out the yardage.
I guess that's part of it, though. Going to something that big.
I think it was, like you said, just the mental game, like the people you were with and surrounded by and shooting with. It was a little intimidating.
Yeah,
just slightly intimidating.
I don't know if it was that for me. I think I was just,
I don't know.
I don't know what it was.
And I just want to say how great of a name it is Rusty Horn. I think that's a great name.
Oh yeah, he's the greatest, and I mean, super humble guy. Like, you know, I mean, even at the end, he was like, "Hey, I'm happy for you. I'm not ecstatic for you, but I'm happy for you." And I was like, "Rusty, like you can drown a moose with all the belt buckles you won, so like, you gotta give them up every now and again." Yeah, I mean, the chances are he just let me win. You know.
Oh gosh.
Well, Tony, that man, I appreciate you coming on the show.
I'm super excited about this. I feel like this is going to be probably one of our most downloaded episodes.
I agree.
Everybody's
Are you going to
super
promote it,
excited
Tony?
to hear.
Well, yeah. I'll promote it. I'll tell you what, you know, this is the first podcast I've ever been on. I've had a couple of people ask me before to be on them, and then I think they meet me in person at these shoots, and they're like, "Oh crap, what do we do?" You know, they just kind of end it. So you guys are kind of brave, you know. I mean,
well, you know what it is.
No.
It's because everybody else is lame, and we are awesome. Breaking Trad is
That's
awesome.
why.
See, I kind of believe that to be true, you know. I mean,
See?
yeah,
You heard it here
Even
from Tony
when we
Taul.
talked, he was like, "Oh man, you can be yourself," and I was like, "Oh, you guys are gonna lose ratings this time." So we'll see how that works.
No, just wait. Once everybody sees the numbers on the show, they're like, "We gotta get that Tony Taul guy on our show."
You just wait. It's coming your way. Hey, but you know what you got to do. This is what you got to do. Yeah, but I'm gonna say thanks to Breaking Trad for getting me out there.
Yep, exactly. You guys are gonna get all the credit.
No,
if I get
man.
17 people to follow me, it's because of you guys. So.
No, man.
And all 17 of our followers.
So we got one more question we like to ask. I'm gonna throw it back over to Matt. Go ahead, Squash Nick.
So we like to ask this question of everybody that comes on the show. What is one piece of advice you could give a new shooter that's just getting started?
You know, really just shoot how you want to shoot. You know, I think there's too many people that come on and they ask, you know, they come on to these things and they ask, how's my form? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? I mean, that takes years to start worrying about that stuff. You know, you don't want to be worrying about how your form is right out the gate. I mean, that's just have fun, you know. I mean, shooting's up until this year, my form was terrible, you know, but I never asked nobody because I shot pretty good, you know. And I think that's a big thing. You got to remember that it's all about fun first. And when you start getting too serious, well, then it almost becomes a job, and it changes it. And, you know, you can be mad and you can be aggravated. And the fact is it really doesn't matter. I mean, my wife, she says it all the time. I don't care how bad I shoot as long as I hit foam. If I can hit foam half the time, I'm having a great time. And, you know, and that's really what it is. She has fun, you know, and I think the main thing is just to have fun. Don't overblow yourself and just get out and shoot, you know, find some stumps. The most fun thing to do is stump shoot. I don't know if you guys like doing that, but, you know, have fun, go stump shooting, and just don't make it too serious. When you make it too serious, then it ain't fun no more.
Right. Where'd you out a little bit?
The whole thing.
Oh yeah.
I like it. That was good
Great
advice.
advice.
And different. Nobody's ever given that point of view, but it's a great point of view because once you put that pressure on yourself, it definitely does make it
it's a whole manifestation that takes place.
I don't like taking myself too seriously. It does take the fun out of it for me.
Well, I mean, realistically, it's the greatest sport in the world, you know, because you're kind of at battle with yourself. So,
right.
I mean,
I'm only worried about beating myself. It's just my only thing.
Well,
just have fun.
Yes, sir.
Tony, again, I appreciate you coming on the show. We're running about time. I think we're 30 some odd minutes deep. And we try to keep it this way in order to get some shoots in. I know I think there's one we got to promote, but again, thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, man.
Hey, I appreciate the invite. I'm honored to be on there. You guys have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Tony.
All right, so we only have a few shoots left for this tournament season, at least the ones that I have on my calendar. September, we have September 16th, that's wrong. September 10th, Twin Oaks Bow Hunters in Tennessee will be hosting a Whitetail Classic to get you ready for bow season coming up. Then we're going to have shoot at Buck Hollow Bow Hunters September 17th. That's the Bernard Myers Memorial Benefit Shoot. It is an open shoot. It's that Saturday. Y'all go out and check them out. And then our home club, the Alabama Society of Traditional Bowmen's last shoot of the season is Russ Dixon Memorial Shoot. It will be September 17th and 18th at Briarfield State Park.
Righty. And then this is a new one to us. I don't know if it's new in general, but October the 22nd for a festival shoot. There will be Louisiana Traditional Archery Saturday, October the 22nd, 7:30 to 5:30. It's $20. And there will be food and hiking and fishing and I can't see, it's really small. Swap meet. 3 3D courses with standing and moving targets. Shooting gallery with awesome novelty shoots. 3D archery competition on the Deer Trail course. Let's see. That is, I don't know how to say that word. It's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. If you want more info, look on our Facebook page. We shared it.
All right, I guess that is all the shoots.
I think so.
Well,
You look like you smell something funny on your microphone.
Swamp meat.
Bless
Swap
him.
meat, not swamp meat.
Swap meat.
Shut up, Alan.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tony Taul. Round of applause for Tony Taul.
Yay!
Tony.
Tony.
Okay.
All right, guys. That's man. It's crazy because, as I was listening to you guys this time read off all the shoots and everything, and then it's surreal because it just like reaffirms the fact that the season is slowly dwindling to an end.
It is.
And
almost over.
then it'll all be hunting season, and we'll go from one thing consuming our week in and week out to a whole nother.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Which I'm looking forward to it. I've got a budget on gear this year, I've been told, and I can go get me some new gear, new tree stand.
Wow,
Get a new
she's
tree stand.
nice.
I didn't tell him nothing.
He was talking about the lady at the credit card company.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was talking about. But gearing up, I'm gonna gear up in September. Got to go do some cleaning. You guys excited? I know. You got any? You seen Ern?
Seen what?
Any velvet? Any deer?
Ain't
No.
there.
No.
There.
It's been too hot to go outside.
Yeah. Hey, that reminds me.
We seen our long neck giraffe.
Yeah,
Out
we
here
did
the other
see
day.
that.
Oh, there's
Like-
all kinds of turkey out here. Oh, walked outside. Asher almost stepped on a possum.
Yeah, I heard that.
I sent the video to him, and I was like, I thought it was just the head of a possum, to be clear. And I was like, why is there a
So
possum
cute.
head laid in
So,
the yard?
Asher
And I
said
walked
he
over
walked.
there.
Asher said he walked out there, and Amanda sent me a video, and I'm like, I was like, where was this thing at? She goes, it's out there by the trampoline.
The kids had to walk right past
And
it
I'm
to get on the
walking out
bus.
there, and I cannot, for the life of me, see it. And I keep walking, and I look down, and this thing goes,
It stops its head up.
yeah. I'm like, oh, there you are. I'm like, are you dead? And he like looked away
questionable.
from me. I thought he was dead. I thought he was dying.
I thought something was wrong.
And so I was like,
something wrong
I'm just
with
going to leave him here until he does his deal. You know what I
He was
mean?
playing possum.
Yeah.
Evidently, because I went and checked the
man.
mail at 2:00 and he was still sitting there. I walked over to the mailbox. I turned around from the mailbox. I look up and there he goes. He's just walking
Was he
out
a
into the
baby
field.
possum or a big
No.
He was a
possum?
big
He was
possum.
big. He was ugly.
He was probably had rabies. And then
I
some,
don't
probably
think
should have
they carry
killed it.
rabies.
yeah, I probably should have killed it. Thanks.
Throw that away over there.
But no.
No, what it is Miles probably was like, oh, a friend, and like had brought it up here. It was traumatized.
Well, isn't it like if they're out during the day, being as they're
yeah, but unless it's been like played with by Miles all night, and it's just like,
Because he is nocturnal, so he would find
Yeah.
a night friend.
yeah,
he does. It's not the first one. I found one in the woods that I'm pretty sure he made friends with.
Just
All my friends die.
Yeah. Just like the baby bunny. He had the baby bunny in his mouth.
Oh man, did we tell you guys about that?
Yeah.
He we come out there and Parker's freaking out. He's like, you know how Parker does. And I was like, dude, what's wrong with you? And he'd walk over there and then he'd look at me and I'm like, dude, what is going? Like he'd walk over to Miles And he would like look at me and he's like, come
He's
on,
telling
man,
on
what
him.
is going on here? And I'm like, dude, I walked over there and there's a rabbit this big. And Miles has just got it between its legs and he's laid down over top of it. I'm like, Miles, get up off that dang rabbit and run him off. Rabbit didn't make it, unfortunately, but you know, it is what it is.
For those of you who don't know, Miles is like a gigantic Great Pyrenees.
He's a beast.
But he's a sissy.
Yeah, he is. Clap your hands. You
Don't
know,
walk too hard with flip flops onto
Don't-
the house. He thinks you're coming after
Yeah,
him.
don't watch Alabama football. And yeah. And then-
All you hear is like,
Anyways, all right. Well, that does it for this episode of Breaking Trad.
I
Ladies
bet
and
city people everywhere is like, what is wrong with these people?
we like to talk about the random wildlife we find in our front yard.
Well,
just like
and
we
you know
get
what's crazy?
excited about possums, just like we do turtles.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. You know, that's crazy. It's like we're sitting here and talking about all the random wildlife, and then you guys get out there in West Virginia, and that woman's like, "Are y'all city folk?"
They're like, no, we just
No,
like nature.
Nancy, we're not.
Yeah, apparently we live at the Roadkill Inn.
Yeah.
We apparently have like a family of skunks that live by our house.
Two of
No,
them's
there
dead.
was one at the office today
Office.
too. I don't know if I ran over a skunk or something, but I was like,
That or
"Ooh."
she went,
Oh yeah,
Yep.
that fell out. I found it in the floor.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us on this episode of Breaking Trad. Just want to say you guys are the best. Thank you very much. We really
know
appreciate
we are.
everybody listening to the show. Thanks, guys.
Hey, I listen to this show like 2 or 3 times a week.
I know you do.
Poor Matt.
If I ever listen to the show, I get super excited. It's hard to control me. I'm like, you guys are freaking rock stars. Ow!
Not me. I feel like everybody says the same thing every week.
I refuse to listen
What's
to
that?
it.
Oh.
I listen to it 3 times. So.
Well, all right. Again, thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Signing off. Guys, we're glad you could join us for this week's episode of Breaking Trad. We hope you had as much fun as we did.
You can catch the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts.
You can contact us at breakingtradpodcast@gmail.com or on Facebook at breakingtradal and on Instagram at breaking_trad. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel.
Remember to subscribe and follow us. That way you'll get notifications every time we drop a new episode.
Join us next week, and remember,
Make every shot count.